Hey there everybody, Matt Carter here.
And Jessica Carter from CARTERMATT.com.
This video is an extra NCIS treat for everyone. It was certainly a treat for us. So what happened is, if you've been watching these videos all season, we have named Steve Binder and Frank Cardea executive producers repeatedly. We have said their names out in the universe, and what happens is if you do that enough, you actually summon a telephone interview with them, which is exactly what happened. We picked up the Steve and Frank phone, and they answered, and we were able to get a little bit...
It's like the bat phone?
Yeah, it's like the bat phone, except on the other side of it's a writer's room, and then they pick up, and then they talk to us. But we spoke with them earlier today, and we've got just some fun little things to talk about here. We also have a full interview on CARTERMATT.com, and we will put a link to that in the description below.
Yep.
Just as a reminder, if you do like this discussion, give us a like and subscribe, and also hit that notification bell because we will have all sorts of fun NCIS stuff coming the moment that Tuesday's episode ends, which is entitled, by the way, The North Pole. And I don't have this down on any of the talking points that we've sort of arranged, but that is going to come into play during the episode, but this is not a typical Christmas episode, so don't think it's just about that.
Yeah, and we've seen a lot of people talking about hoping that there's going to be a lot of that Christmas feeling, like last season's Christmas episode was very Christmassy, and there was a lot of that in there. It seems like this time, a little bit different.
Yeah.
Not completely devoid of Christmas, but a little bit different.
Yeah, it's going to play out in a slightly different fashion than before. But let us begin this discussion with point number one, which is why Ziva is back. Because it says in the synopsis that she's there to do the one thing she needs to do before reuniting with Tony and Tali.
Yeah.
That seems to be helping someone else. They were very specific in noting that there are a lot of people who have assisted Ziva along the way, and she feels like that this is something that she needs to pay back when they are in need.
Yeah, and I mean, that makes sense, that she would want to give back to the people that helped her go underground or be able to disappear. I mean, that wasn't easy. She wasn't going to be able to do that by herself, and you know, if one of these people are gonna be in trouble, I feel like she's gonna want to give back to that. They said that it's not like she just hired mercenaries to come and help her disappear. Yeah. These are people that she cares about. So if they're gonna be in trouble and that's where we're headed, then she's gonna step back out.
Yeah, and I mean, one possibility that rings very true, and this is not something that Steve or Frank addressed specifically, but we know that Adam is going to be a part of this episode.
Yeah.
Adam might be one of these people who Ziva is trying her best in order to help, but it feels like this is going to be a mission of Ziva's that involves heavily someone else just as much, if not more so, than just something she's trying to do for herself.
Yeah.
All right, so point number two, the whole idea of this, is there going to be a huge cliffhanger where Jess and I are coming on here on the channel on Tuesday and just being like, ah, for like 10 minutes? Maybe not. These episodes are going to be linked, the North Pole and what comes afterwards, but it's not going to be just where there's a huge dramatic cliffhanger. It feels like it's more one story then sort of sets up the next story.
Yeah, one of the things that we've seen online and we saw in the promo was Gibbs and Ziva falling through a floor, and some people are wondering if that's going to be the big cliffhanger. Are they going to make it through that? I had suspected that that was just going to be part of the action because, you know, when Ziva's here, there's lots of action happening, and I still feel that way, especially after talking to Steve and Frank. It feels like there will be some resolution, but, you know, it's not going to be some crazy, oh my goodness, are they going to make it through okay? It doesn't feel like that.
Yeah, I think it's going to be more, oh, this is sort of leading into this, but there's going to be a little bit of resolution. It's not going to be a place where you're going to be leaving the Christmas episode, or at least the episode before Christmas, not knowing anything about how stories are going to kind of tie up. So
or throwing things at your TV and you're upset for the whole holidays. It doesn't feel like that's what they're going to do to us, which is a very nice Christmas gift. I was hoping that it wasn't going to be too much of a cliffhanger where through the holidays we're just worried about everything. So Thank you, Stephen
Yeah,
Frank.
they are not Grinches. They are not on our NCIS naughty list at the moment. So
no, they're gonna give us a little bit of a relief.
Yeah. Now, the third thing to talk about here, and I think this one is fun. Jess and I have come up with a lot of different theories over time, and so have
you guys.
Yeah, like there have been a lot of fun collective theories, and the question that we sort of asked was related to Phineas and Sarah, who are going to be a part of this upcoming episode in some way. And, you know, we've talked through the idea of maybe Sarah is a spy, or maybe she's working with Ziva,
or maybe she's Sahar.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of stuff that, you know, she doesn't feel like she was just there for no reason.
And, you know, the thing is that obviously, you know, Stephen Frank, they're not going to be like, oh, you know, that's right, that's wrong.
Absolutely. We didn't expect that if we asked the question, and we kind of did, is there more to Sarah, that they weren't going to be like, oh, man, you figured us out. All right. Here's the spoilers.
Yeah.
We knew that wasn't going to come out.
No, but I mean, there was sort of an interesting little, I don't know if you call it a metaphor, but just an explanation on how sometimes the relationship between what happens behind the scenes and then what happens online can be very different things. Yep. Frank told this little anecdote about how, you know, sometimes there's an occasion where Wardrobe will put a character in a green jacket that's different than anything that they've worn before, and then they will end up being on an episode, and then the internet will sort of freak out and try to speculate a lot about that green jacket. Sometimes it's just the green jacket. So, I mean, the obvious implication here is that maybe Sarah is just Sarah, and Sarah isn't some, like, super spy or traitor or anything else.
I'm still living under my tinfoil hat that they're not able to tell us everything, and that maybe it's not just a green jacket, and it's a green jacket that has a spy underneath it.
Like there's a spy hiding out. Like is this like a Vincent Adult Man from BoJack Horseman, where there's like people within the jacket?
No, that Sarah's wearing the green jacket and she's a spy.
Okay, well, we'll see if there are any green jackets that show up on Tuesday's episode. But point number 4, I know this is something everyone kind of wants an answer to, and that is, yeah, you know, is there going to be hope for more of Ziva, or more hope for Ziva and her family after the 400, I mean, not 400, after Tuesday's episode coming up? And, you know, this is where, of course, you have to be cryptic if you are an executive producer. You don't want to tip your hat as to anything that's coming up, but more so than that, it honestly just felt to me like they're not really sure themselves as to what the future holds. Like, it doesn't feel like Ziva's going to be appearing immediately after the January 7th episode.
No, and I mean, I'm okay with this as a fan of Ziva. We're both fans of Ziva. We've gotten a lot of Ziva this season. We've gotten 4 full episodes. We're going to have the 2 more. We've already had 2 already. She's not back as a regular on the show. She's not even back as a part-time on the show. And we've gotten quite a lot of her. She's gotten more episodes than people like, even like a Casey spotlight. And Casey is a main character on the show. So if this is all we're going to have of her this season, I'm okay with that. Yeah. I would like to then see her come back in the future. And it feels like maybe the door is open after speaking to Stephen Frank.
Yeah, that's what it felt like to me. Frank kind of mentioned specifically, you know, that if we had asked them a few years ago if Ziva was going to be coming back, you know, they would have just been like, you know, we really don't know. And, you know, it's sort of like now, kind of asking them now, but, you know, is Ziva going to come back at some point down the road? It's hard for them to answer, and it's not because they don't want to answer. It's just because they can only think so far ahead, and there are so many different components that go into that. I mean, I feel like it sounds as though the door is open, that there could be something more down the road, but it's just sort of like you take what's directly in front of you, and then you sort of go from there.
Yeah, it kind of feels like there aren't other plans for her this season, but that doesn't necessarily mean that there isn't. I mean, not everything has been filmed yet, not everything is ready yet. They can change their minds at any point. Maybe a story will come up where it fits and it makes sense for her to come back this season. But again, if we don't get any more Ziva this season, we have gotten a lot of Ziva this season. We've gotten way more than I ever thought I was ever going to get to. I didn't even think I was going to ever get to see her again. So I feel like I've been treated.
Yeah, we've gotten a lot. Obviously, it would be great to see her again, but it may not be something that happens. But just also remember this. Steve and Frank were in part able to keep the secret that Ziva was coming back onto the show.
Absolutely.
Under, midnight, skeleton crew, all this sort of stuff. So I feel like it's certainly possible that they could have just been telling us a few things with their fingers crossed behind their backs.
Right. And I mean, as showrunners, we expect them to do this.
Yeah.
Like, we did not expect them to just come and spill all the beans.
Yeah.
Then why are we all tuning in if they're just going to tell us everything? They were... gave us as much as they could. There was even at one point where they were kind of like, is that vague enough for you? And I was just dying laughing because what can they say? They can give us some stuff. They don't want to give away the farm, but they gave away enough. Yeah,
and I mean, I think the bar is set pretty high now when it comes to blatantly lying in an interview about what's coming. That is what I call the Tom Ellis Award of 2019. But I don't think they've gotten to that level just yet. But anyway...
Yeah, but you can't blame them for it. Like, even with Tom Ellis straight out lying and saying that he wasn't coming up in the
Crisis crossover,
I'm completely fine with that. I would have been more crushed if he was like, oh yeah, I'm in it. Well, thanks, Tom.
Ruining all the fun.
You ruined all the fun. So.
All right. Well, number 5. This is the final point. 400th episode. It doesn't seem like anything is super firm in place just yet, but... It seems like they are kind of consciously aware of the fact that Ducky and Gibbs are the two characters who are still on NCIS, who were there from the very, very beginning.
They are the OG two.
They are the
only two.
Yeah, like McGee showed up in season 1, but he wasn't there episode 1 of season 1.
Yep.
So it feels like the 400th episode is going to do a lot to sort of pay homage to those two characters in particular. So... If you're hoping for some good Gibbs and Ducky stuff, you'll probably have it there.
And I'm really glad that they decided to go in this direction.
Yeah. And I think it's not necessarily, it's not 100%. It could still change. But for now, that's where we are.
Yeah. And I mean... They really are the only two main characters from the very first episode. And with a big milestone like the 400th episode, I know that there was a lot of us that were hoping that they'd bring back Ziva and bring back Tony and all that sort of stuff. But and I was one of those people, I thought, oh, this could be a great opportunity to bring back people, because a lot of these milestone episodes, they like to, not just NCIS, but lots of shows across the board, they like to bring back people from the past. It's a good time for some nostalgia.
Yeah.
But with this episode, the idea that they're going to be, or they could be, focusing on these two characters or paying homage to the very beginning, I love that. That really fills my heart when I heard that. And it makes sense, and it feels like the right way to go about it.
And we'll probably see that a little bit closer to the end of the season, so it's not going to air for a while. We'll probably have a lot more to say about that in due time. But NCIS is airing the North Pole on Tuesday. Like we said earlier, check it out. Come back here after it airs. We'll help to break it down with you. We'll sort of preview what's going to be coming up next.
Yep.
And if you like this video, give us a like, subscribe, and also, if you want to support us more, check out that link in the description to the CARTERMATT store, and we'll see you here next time.